Hey, good morning. It's Dan Lear. I'm at the Mayo Clinic here at the oncology unit, and it's about 8:45. I'm going in for my treatment, the carfilzomib second IV treatment, which I'll talk about more later. But today is a really special day, and so I'm sitting here with my newfound sister, my soul healer, Regina Conyers, and she is from Richmond, Virginia. And one of the reasons that I made these documentary videos, this YouTube channel called Amyloidosis, My Journey for Success, was one reason for me, just for therapeutical reasons, but number two is to help other people who were going through the same thing that I was going through. I was frustrated. I was a healthy guy, and pretty soon I wasn't able to walk, and I felt like I was dying, but nobody was hearing me. And then when I finally got diagnosed, I was a little frustrated with the medical community. I was mad. At this point, I don't have any animosity. I just want other people to know that there are answers. And so I put that up, and people like Regina have found it. And so oddly enough, here she is in her first meeting, and she's at the Mayo Clinic the same time I am. And we had this incredible dinner last night, Jennifer and Regina and myself, and had to be about a 2-hour dinner just talking about situations. So first of all, Regina, thank you for being here. It's just a blessing, and I'm so excited to meet you.
Absolutely, Dan. Thank you for just getting me here to the Mayo Clinic, and dinner was beautiful. Just all of the information you shared with me last night, it was beautiful, so thank you.
You're welcome. So what you do is fascinating. So tell us what you do.
Okay, by trade, I am a licensed clinical social worker, but in title, I am the program director of a polytrauma unit for the Veterans Affairs in Richmond, Virginia. So we deal with amputations, TBI, pain, PTSD, and we rehab these guys back to health. And so I've been in the medical field for quite a while. So when I started having symptoms, I kind of knew something's not right. This isn't normal. And I have a wonderful team, and they know me very well. And then they started to recognize that I wasn't doing so well.
Right. And so she literally, in her job, is bringing people back to life. I mean, what's fascinating to me, she's working with these people that are coming back from Afghanistan or wherever, right?
Yep.
I don't want to put
Iraq,
Iraq, Afghanistan, and she was telling stories last night where they're in there, but there's no, you can't, they don't show you any evidence that they're in there, and then after a year or two they come out and so she's dealing in the medical world at a higher level than most, and the fact that she was, tell us about, you're healthy, you're a runner, kind of similar lines that I was on, and just tell some of the things you went through that caused you to start searching on YouTube.
Gotcha. So for me, my story actually begins when I was 24. I had hypertension. And that continued on throughout many of my pregnancies. I have 3 children, so I've been on blood pressure medication for a really long time. So taking meds, having high blood pressure, that wasn't abnormal for me. That's always, been a part of my life. And just recently, about spring of this year, I started to notice various things. I would, wake up in the morning to do my morning run, and I couldn't run as hard, I couldn't run as fast. And then by the beginning of summer, I couldn't run at all. I could barely walk steps. I was so fatigued all the time. And my kids noticed, along with being a program director, I teach, I have my own business, I have 3 kids, so I'm very active. So this decline for me, it was so dramatic. And like I said, my rehab team at work, everyone noticed. They were like, something is not quite right. You're just walking kind of slow. You just seem very washed out and drained. And one day at work, I wasn't feeling so well. I went to the nurses, I told them, and they took my blood pressure. It was about 197 over 117. And my boss, who's a physician, he was like, you're in hypertensive crisis. And I was like, I'm fine. And I kind of found a way to sneak behind them and get out the building before they called the ambulance. But from there, I still thought it was my blood pressure. Went on to find out at an ER visit that it wasn't my blood pressure, it wasn't my kidneys. I actually had heart failure. And that was devastating for me because I didn't expect that.
Right.
And from there, I saw one specialist after another specialist. And then I finally got to a cardiologist, probably my 8th opinion by then. and she told me that this wasn't normal for someone that was healthy. I ran, I exercised, I ate well, didn't do any drugs, didn't drink a lot. She said this is absolutely abnormal. And that's when she proposed that maybe it was a cardiac amyloidosis. And from there, I was kind of relieved to have some type of potential diagnosis.
Right.
And to be looking at something, because everybody had said fibromuscular dysplasia or chronic heart or congestive heart failure, all of these other things. But none of the labs added up. Nothing looked right. It just didn't fit into a perfect, this is what it is.
Right.
And so when she told me it potentially could be cardiac amyloidosis, I started Googling a little bit. And I said, I want to hear other people's experience to
Right.
see if my symptoms match up with theirs. And that's when I went on YouTube, and I can't remember what I put in, but your video came up. And I saw you, I heard you talking about your symptoms, and I was sitting there and I was like, that's me. That's me. I am going through the same thing. Those are my symptoms. And I watched a lot of the videos, your pre-diagnosis, the first time coming to Mayo, and it just pulled me in. Because of what you do, I felt there was such a connection with us. The symptoms were so similar. And I said, let me just email him. Let me just email him and see what he says. And I emailed you, and you responded immediately.
Yep.
And then here we are.
Yeah. So she was telling me all of her symptoms. Like, so tell me what's going on. And she was telling me her symptoms. And I said, look, I'm not a doctor, but I have been searching for 2 years, and she has been obviously to 8 cardiologists. And so I said, get yourself an appointment to Mayo, get down here. They're experts in this field of amyloidosis. Let them figure it out. And at least if it's not amyloidosis, at least you know something. So, and she made that happen. And she had a 2-week appointment. And as the stars line up, and here we are, here at the same time together. I came up for started my cycle 5 with my double-blind study. And she was up here since last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now it's Tuesday or Wednesday of the following week. And here we are, and it's just been a blessing. And I can tell you, just hearing her talk, and I texted my kids last night. I said, all those videos we make, I probably get 2 emails a week, right? And people it's more about their dads and their moms and their sisters, and a couple of them that are like you. But you're the only one who said, okay, I'm doing it. I'm going after it. So my congratulations to you for taking action. And I hope you don't have it, but I hope you get the diagnosis that you're looking for.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, thank you so much. What you said to me in the email, you said, Regina, if it were a matter of life and death, would you make the decision to come to Mayo?
Yes.
And I have 3 children, and I said, I choose life.
Yep.
Like, I have to do this.
That's
so
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yep. She called me her angel. I'm taking that to the bank, baby. Thank you.